Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB and today is the 10th of April 2023. And to be honest guys, the global cryptocurrency market hasn't changed quite a lot. But if you look at the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are slowly pumping up. Now as of today, the global cryptocurrency market is somewhere between the $1.18 trillion range. And in the next 2 days, could it be possible that the price of Ethereum pumps up? And that is because of the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade. So this week guys is going to be really critical, particularly for Ethereum. Really, I'm not sure if that's going to have an impact on the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. Now guys, in today's episode, we are once again going to have a very brief discussion on the Bitcoin mining industry, but we are going to be discussing it from a political point of view. And guys, I've said this time and over again, left-wing politicians and left-wing ideologies and Democrats are definitely not in favor of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. And we have some negative news regarding North Carolina, and exactly opposite are right-wing ideologies, right-wing politicians and Republicans who are in favor of Bitcoin mining. And we have some update regarding the state of Arkansas, so we'll definitely go ahead and explore that in today's episode. Now regarding the Bank of England, they are on the verge of going full into Bitcoin, which is a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. And there is an article which is published by a CoinDesk that does talk about some job openings. This is keeping in mind the future of central bank digital currency. And guys, you always need to remember, when Satoshi Nakamoto made his very first transaction, he had an encrypted message, and the message was addressed to the Chancellor of the Bank of England. So once again in today's episode, we'll very briefly touch base on that. And guys, in today's episode, we're also going to be talking about Bitcoin mining once again. And looks like the Bitcoin mining difficulty has reached a new all-time high. Now look guys, if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, you might think that this is a good news, but unfortunately, Bitcoin mining difficulty reaching a new all-time high is definitely not ideal. It just means that the security is much stronger than actually needed. The analogy I can think of is, let's say if you have a room, rather than having one door, now you have 8 doors. It just does not make any sense. Security is definitely great, but when the Bitcoin mining difficulty is increasing, it just means that people are competing in order to get more Bitcoin, and this just means the human nature of greed. And we'll talk about the dangers of human greed combined with game theory and combined with the fixed supply nature of Bitcoin, which is definitely not ideal. And last week, guys, in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, we did talk about MicroStrategy, which is accumulating a lot of Bitcoins, leading to a lot of centralization among multi-billionaires, millionaires, celebrities, early adopters and influencers. So it is definitely not ideal. And guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, we're going to be looking at 2 news regarding Dubai, UAE and Middle East. And the first news that I have is all the way from Abu Dhabi, and it is about Zero to Digital Assets Infrastructure. And they have launched in Abu Dhabi, so we'll definitely go ahead and explore that in today's episode. And the second news, guys, is between Neopen, and they have partnered with Tributos, which I believe is from South Korea, to establish next generation Web 3.0 travel platform. So it looks like travel to earn is definitely kicking in, particularly in Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. So we'll definitely go and explore that. And look, as UAE is becoming a hub for Web 3.0. So we'll definitely go and explore that in today's episode. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee Date, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as we kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee a Day has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee a Day. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee a Day and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee a Day, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee a Day aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers, a brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Space Podcast. So check out the Race Space Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Space Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs, and these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since we've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now as of today, it is at $1.18 trillion, and since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.38%. Now look guys, over the next coming days, as and when the Shanghai upgrade date kicks in, I'm pretty much sure you're going to be seeing some drastic movement. The drastic movement most likely might happen in Ethereum, not so much in Bitcoin and other shitcoins, but as of today, the total cryptocurrency market volume is only at $28.50 billion. Look guys, this number is definitely not ideal. Imagine we talk about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin in particular, overtaking the finance industry. And if someone were to ask you the total 24-hour volume, including Bitcoin, it is only at $28.50 billion. You also need to understand that yesterday was Sunday and it was Easter, but nonetheless, the volume definitely needs to be 5 times or maybe 10 times better, considering the fact that we are talking about banking industry collapsing and we are in the hopes of having hyper-Bitcoinization. Now that thing being said, guys, since the last 24 hours, the 24-hour trading volume has increased by 6.36%. The total volume in DeFi is currently at $3.08 billion, and the total value locked is once again above the $50 billion mark at $50.44 billion. Lido is still dominating at 22.15%, and $11.17 billion is locked in this protocol. And as of today, guys, DeFi accounts for 10.82% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And so far as the total value locked is concerned, MakerDAO is number second at $7.71 billion, followed by Aave at $5.67 billion, Core Finance at $4.65 billion, and Uniswap at $4.01 billion. The volume of stable coins, guys, is once again ridiculously low at $24.64 billion, and guys, stable coins account for 86.44% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. I really am not sure what is going on in the world of stable coins. Out of this $24.64 billion, Tether USDT accounts for $19.17 billion, but surprisingly, guys, the market cap of Tether USDT has gone up once again. The market cap of Bitfinex's Tether USDT is $80.20 billion, but the 24-hour trading volume is only $19.17 billion. Circle USDC's market cap is $32.60 billion, whereas the 24-hour trading volume is down to $2.45 billion. And guys, I've said this over again, what happens to the difference in the funds? So let's say if Bitfinex's Tether USDT's market cap is $80.20 billion, ideally, legally and technically, they should have $80.20 billion as its reserve, but only $19.17 billion has been traded. So what happens to the remainder of $60-odd billion? I really am not sure. And guys, Binance BUSD's market cap is $7.07 billion, and I really wouldn't be surprised in the next few days the market cap goes below the $7 billion. The 24-hour trading volume is only at $2.41 billion. Now guys, let's look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And once again, guys, I really am expecting the numbers for Ethereum to change. Now the market cap of Bitcoin is $547 billion, Ethereum is $224 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Ethereum is $6.20 billion, whereas Bitcoin is $11.2 billion. And guys, few days ago, I believe last week, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, where I actually talked about Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume, which actually shot up by 5 times, and if I'm not mistaken, the 24-hour trading volume was hovering around the $53 billion mark. I really am not sure what was going on that day. Was it some heavy wash trading? Most likely, but I couldn't see any news regarding that. You can't have such kind of anomalies, because on an average given day, the 24-hour trading volume of Ethereum hovers somewhere between the $5 to $10 billion mark. That particular day, the 24-hour trading volume spiked 5 times, and what was really surprising is that it did not have any impact on the price of Ethereum as well. So really, I'm not sure. And I did speak to some of my friends, and they were saying that people are using stablecoins. Surprisingly, guys, that day, the volume of stablecoins wasn't fluctuating as well. It was rather ridiculously low. So it was definitely an anomaly. I'll be really curious to see what is going on. I really am not hoping we do find out another notorious activity, particularly in the world of Ethereum. Now, so far as the dominance is concerned, Bitcoin's dominance is 46.06%, and Ethereum's dominance is 18.90%. Now, in today's episode, guys, let me just briefly run through the market cap of Web3 protocols. Chainlink's market cap is $3.74 billion, followed by Filecoin at $2.38 billion, and the Graph at $1.28 billion. Now, guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. It is at $28,460, and since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 1.85%. Since the last 7 days, it is marginally up by 1.54%. And in today's episode, guys, I'm going to be talking quite a lot of things regarding Bitcoin, more to do with a political point of view and also its impact on creating central bank digital currency. And we'll also look at the positives and the negatives of Bitcoin mining industry. Now, Ethereum is at $1,868. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.70%. Since the last 7 days, it is marginally up by 4.53%. Now, regarding Ethereum, guys, if you do want to find out the exact date, the exact block number and epoch number, make sure to follow 10 Week or via Twitter. He constantly provides updates on the status of any hard fork or changes in the Ethereum protocol. Binance Coin is currently at $312. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.56%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 0.06%. Now look guys, I've been saying it in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast since a very long time. Is Bitcoin truly apolitical? In an idealistic world, Bitcoin should be able to create separation of money and the state, and when that thing happens, we might see that politics do not have any impact on the price, the direction of Bitcoin and its mining industry. Now in today's episode, we are very briefly going to be looking at left-wing ideologies, left-wing politicians and democratic ideologies so far as the Bitcoin mining industry is concerned, and we'll be comparing it with right-wing ideologies and Republican ideologies. So let's kick start by talking about the state of Arkansas, which is a Republican state, and the Arkansas state has passed a bill to regulate the state's Bitcoin mining industry, and it has already been passed by the state Senate. So the bill now leaves the governor's office for approval, and guys, the Arkansas Data Center Act of 2023 would create guidelines for Bitcoin miners and would aim to prevent fraudulent business practices. And guys, the representative Rick McClure, who's a Republican, he's the lead sponsor, along with Senator Joshua Bryant, who's also a Republican. Now guys, listen, it is worth noting that Arkansas is a Republican-controlled state, and generally Republicans are in favor of Bitcoin, open source technology, innovation, and freedom of speech. Republicans have traditionally been proponents of free markets, deregulation, and limited government intervention, which aligns with the principles of Bitcoin and decentralized technology. However, guys, it's important to note that political affiliations don't necessarily dictate an individual's space, an individual's stance on any particular issue, and there may be varying options within the Republican Party as well on the regulation of Bitcoin mining and other related matters. Now going back to the news, the Arkansas state has passed a bill aimed at regulating Bitcoin mining industry in the state, which now waits approval from the governor's office, and most likely the governor will definitely approve it. And the proposed bill, known as the Arkansas Data Center Act of 2023, outlines guidelines for Bitcoin mining businesses to prevent fraudulent practices and ensure compliance with state laws, tax policies, safety ordinances, and utility regulations. And guys, it's worth noting that the bill also requires miners to pay applicable taxes and fees in acceptable forms of currency and operate in a manner that doesn't strain the public utilities generation capabilities or transmission network. And guys, the proposed legislations allow individuals to operate home Bitcoin mining according to applicable utility rules and rates. This, guys, is absolutely positive news, and the bill aims to recognize the economic value of data centers to local communities and the state while protecting miners from discriminatory regulations and taxes. It defines several key terms including digital assets, digital asset miner, or digital asset mining, and it also clarifies the definition of a digital asset mining business as a group of computers working in a single site that consumes more than 1 megawatt on an average annual basis for the purpose of generating digital asset. And guys, later on in the episode, I'll just give out some basic information regarding the Bitcoin mining difficulty. And guys, this bill also defines node and residence and specifies that a person may have a digital asset mining business in an area zone for industrial use that hasn't been designated by the local government for other purposes. Now look guys, bills such as this does provide crystal clear guidelines and direction for individuals trying to get into the Bitcoin mining industry, but on the extreme left-leaning states such as North Carolina, it is exactly the opposite. And one thing guys, which I did allude to earlier on, is that left-wing ideologies and democratic states are not in favor of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, open source, freedom of speech. They're rather more focused on being woke. And guys, North Carolina is one of those states, and Buncombe County from North Carolina, their commissioners are pushing forward with a plan to impose a 1-year pause on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency mining in the North Carolina county, and they are citing concerns about its impact on the environment and the community, according to a report. Now listen guys, in the county, voters elected Democratic Brownie Newman to chair the county commission in 2016. And as you know guys, Democrats are definitely not in favor of Bitcoin mining, and you need to understand guys, Bitcoin mining is a process by which new Bitcoins are generated and transactions are validated on the blockchain network. This process involves solving complex mathematical equations using specialized computer hardware. Now, in 2011, 12, and 13, you could mine Bitcoin at your home, but right now it does consume a lot of electricity. Now, this has raised concern about the environmental impact of the activity, particularly in areas where the electricity used to power the mining operations is generated from non-renewable sources such as coal or natural gas, and the surge in mining operation across America has prompted legislators to consider imposing regulations on the industry to mitigate its impact on the environment and communities. And guys, the only other country I can think of is aggressively going after Bitcoin mining is the communist country of China, and looks like left-leaning states and the democratic states are following the communist agenda. Now guys, in the case of Buncombe County, North Carolina, officials are proposing a one-year pause in cryptocurrency mining in the county while regulations are developed to address concerns about the environmental impact on the activity, and a public hearing has been scheduled to gather input from the community on the issue. In addition to the environmental concern, guys, they are also concerned about the noise generated by the mining operations and the impact on the surrounding community. Now guys, listen, overall the growth of Bitcoin mining industry has led to economic opportunities and innovation. It has also raised concerns about its impact on the environment and communities, leading to increased calls for regulations in some democratic states. Now what you need to remember, guys, earlier in this year, a bill was introduced to the Texas state, which is once again a Republican state, and the House of Representatives aim to protect the rights of individuals who own and use Bitcoin in the state of Texas, and they actually welcome and foster the growth of Bitcoin economy. Now the bill expresses support for protecting individuals who code or develop on Bitcoin network and ensure that individuals who mine Bitcoin in Texas will never be inhibited by any law or resolution that restricts the practice of securing Bitcoin network. And the bill concludes with a welcome to those who work on Bitcoin coding, programming, and mining, describing their individual rights to possess and use Bitcoin, as well as the rights of their Bitcoin enterprises, are not only encouraged in Texas, but they're also protected, guys. And the bill in Texas will go to the House, the Senate, and the Governor's office if approved by each. Now listen, guys, just a quick recap. Republicans, right-wing states are definitely in favor of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, open source, innovation, and freedom of speech. They are definitely opposed to central bank digital currencies. Democrats, left-leaning ideologies, and left-leaning states are definitely not in favor of Bitcoin, not in favor of cryptocurrencies, not in favor of open source, not in favor of innovation, and not in favor of freedom of speech. They are rather in favor of central bank digital currency. They are in favor of cancel culture, being woke, and more regulations and control. So what are your thoughts, guys? Do you agree to it or disagree to what I'm saying? Mention them in the comments below. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding the Bank of England. Now, there's an article which is published in the Times UK, and the article states that the Bank of England is speeding up its plan for digital currency called as Bitcoin. And the article does actually state that the Bank of England is targeting a team of 30 strong people for its digital currency, and the coin is going to be called as Bitcoin. Now, guys, listen, this is so ironic because when Satoshi Nakamoto made his very first transaction, he did have an encrypted message, and the message actually stated, the Times, 3rd of Jan 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. Now you need to understand, guys, that this message was directed to the Chancellor of the Bank of England, and the text actually is a headline article in the London Times about the British government's failure to stimulate the economy post 2007 and 2008, and guys, a symbolic test was put in creation of the Genesis block on the same day as the news of a bank bailout broke. Now listen, guys, this encrypted message is the true definition of being a cypherpunk, isn't it? And guys, this also gives us some idea who Satoshi Nakamoto would be. Could it be someone who's from America, or could it be someone from UK or London? I'm most likely leading to someone from London, and there is only one person that pops into our mind, and that is Adam Back. Now listen, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Back is Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding Bitcoin mining difficulty. The Bitcoin mining difficulty has once again reached a new all-time high, and this is the fourth consecutive increase. And Bitcoin.com has reported that on April 6th, Bitcoin's mining difficulty rose 2.23% higher at block height number 784,224, touching another all-time high. and this is the fourth consecutive difficulty increase on the Bitcoin's mining network since February of 24, and the protocol's current difficulty is 47.89 trillion, which is only 2.1 trillion away from reaching the 50 trillion range. This, guys, is definitely not ideal. Now, having security is great, but you need to understand a lot of the electricity is going completely for waste. Now, if you are someone who has just gotten into the Bitcoin space, you might think that this is absolutely great. Unfortunately, it is not. It just means that Bitcoin is so secure. This just means that Bitcoin is extremely secure. Now, what you need to truly understand is Bitcoin miners are not doing it in order to protect their network. Rather, they are getting greedy, and because they want to receive Bitcoins as a reward, that is the only reason why the Bitcoin mining difficulty is reaching a new all-time high. And guys, you need to understand that Bitcoin mining involves solving complex mathematical equations to add new blocks to the blockchain. Now, what you can do is go to my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and at the bottom of the page, you will see a YouTube video explaining how Bitcoin mining difficulty works. And every 2014th block, which is roughly around 2 weeks, the Bitcoin mining difficulty gets adjusted. However, as more people join the mining network, the difficulty level of these equations increases. To maintain a consistent rate of block creation, this is done to prevent inflation and ensure that the Bitcoin mining remains secure. And as stated in the article, guys, the current difficulty money for Bitcoin is at an all-time high of 47.89 trillion. This means that miners need to perform 47.89 trillion computations to find a hash value that meets the predetermined criteria for every block added to blockchain. This difficulty level is set to maintain same until April of 20th. Listen, guys, having so much of security is definitely not ideal, and there are also talks that having so much of security means that miners all across the world do have so much of computational power. What happens if the difficulty mining goes down? Could it be possible to do a 51% attack? Most likely, unfortunately, the answer would be yes. But despite the increase in difficulty, the hash rate of Bitcoin mining remains at 340.61 exahash per second. This means that the network is still processing a vast amount of computational power, allowing it to maintain relatively short block intervals of under 10 minutes. And guys, the article also notes that in the past 3 days, 463 blocks were discovered, with Foundry USA and Antpool being the top contributors, and Foundry USA found 159 blocks using 34.34% of the global network's hash power, while Antpool captured 95 blocks with 20.52% of the network's hash power. Now, if both of them were to combine, it's well over the 50% mark. These statistics suggest that despite the increasing difficulty, miners are still successfully finding blocks and networks remains robust. Now look, guys, I particularly don't like this, which just means, guys, when you talk about human greed, people do want to go and accumulate more Bitcoin. When you talk about game theory and when you talk about the fixed supply of Bitcoin, people are greedy in order to get more Bitcoin. Now think of it as an average individual user. Are you in a position to go and mine Bitcoin? Fortunately, that is not the case. Now right now it is Foundry USA and Antpool. Now I wouldn't be surprised if some other founders such as Coinbase or MicroStrategy have heavily invested in Foundry USA and Antpool. And this, guys, goes back to the very basics of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was ideally supposed to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, but looks like the Bitcoin mining industry is definitely in the hands of selected few individuals as well. Now, guys, let's discuss 2 news regarding Dubai, UAE, and Middle East. And the first news is all the way from Abu Dhabi, and the news is about Zero2 digital infrastructure they have launched in Abu Dhabi. So let me try to give out some information. Now, Zero2 is a digital asset infrastructure which is based in Abu Dhabi, and the company has launched its operation to serve the growing interest in Web3 technology and its ecosystem. And Zero2 offers a comprehensive range of end-to-end digital asset infrastructure solutions. Now, guys, I did read through the news via Emirates News Agency, which is the official government website. Now, unfortunately, I could not find the website for Zero2, and I tried to look it via LinkedIn as well, and I absolutely could not find any information regarding Zero2. Even the CEO's name, I could not find it via LinkedIn. But let me try to give out more information about Zero2. Now, these solutions that is offered by Zero2 include power infrastructure development, sourcing and testing of latest generation technologies, data center building and operations, and digital asset management services, and Zero2 aims to become a trusted partner for companies seeking to benefit from the innovative scope and transformative potential of digital assets. And digital assets have the potential to improve visibility, transparency, coordination, and information sharing across company borders. And Zero2 was established to operate and invest in best-in-class technologies that accelerate and support the digital asset and Web3 ecosystem in the region. And this system includes concepts such as decentralization and token-based economics. And Zero2 gas will play a crucial role in supporting the stability of Abu Dhabi's power grid, and the company will contribute to UAE's net zero commitments and transition to a sustainable and decarbonized economy. And Zero2 will utilize excess power during low demand seasons to operate its state-of-the-art data center located in Abu Dhabi. This will further support the resilience of the local power grid. And Ahmad Al-Hamili is the CEO of Zero2, and Zero2 gas offers a comprehensive business model that caters to rapidly emerging demand, and the company has demonstrated commitment to meeting the highest standards of security and compliance. And Zero2 is confident that its offering will not only meet the needs of its clients but also exceed the expectation, and the company believes that deploying distributed ledger technologies can provide various benefits. This is the whole power of blockchain technology, and Gas Zero2 is poised to capitalize on the growing demand for digital asset infrastructure solutions in the region. Now guys, let's discuss the second news, and this is about Neopin and Tripbots. So let me try to give out some information. So essentially the news is that they have partnered to establish next generation Web 3.0 travel platform. So the website for Neopin is neopin.io, that is N for November, E for Elephant, O for Orange, P for Peter, I for India, N for November.io. Now if you go to the website guys, it states that it is a one-stop, non-custodial, which is CDFI, which is centralized, decentralized finance protocol for utilizing your crypto securely, and Neopin provides crypto products while taking advantage of both CeFi and DeFi. So an interesting concept. And guys, Tributos, the website is tributos.com, that is T for Tango, R for Roger, I for India, P for Peter, B for Bravo, T for Tango, O for Orange, Z for Zebra, and their website says that they want to play, share, and stay, and looks like the company is from South Korea. And if you go to the website, everything is written in South Korean language. If you go to LinkedIn, it did say that Tributos has signed a business agreement with global CDFI, that is centralized DeFi platform, Neopin, to build the next generation travel platform based on Web 3.0 technology. And the two companies built the network through the participation of the President's Economic Mission to the UAE in January this year. And based on this agreement, they plan to introduce Travel Web 3.0 ecosystem where young travelers from all around the world can communicate. So let me try to give out some more information. Now, Neopin and Tributos are partnering to develop Web 3.0 based travel platform, and Tributos is a short-form video-based travel platform with a community and reward system. And Neopin and Tributos established connection as participants of the UAE business delegation, and the collaboration between them is the first incubation project where Neopin supports a Web 2 tech company's transition to Web 3.0. And Neopin guys will help translate Tributos' existing platform into Web 3.0 version, and the memorandum of understanding between them aims to showcase Travel Web 3.0 ecosystem for young travelers to communicate, and Neopin intends to maximize its resources to support the global success of Tributos. And Jake Kim, the CEO of Neopin, aims to turn Tributos into a successful Web 3.0 travel platform by leveraging both companies' experience in blockchain and travel industry. And Jia Yong, the CEO of Tributos, wants to create a high-performing travel-to-earn service suitable for Web 3.0. Now, travel-to-earn might sound a bit catchy, particularly if you have influencers and TikTok influencers promoting them, and the travel industry, guys, as you know, is in a transition period with lines blurring between real world and the metaverse, and the collaboration between them aims to disrupt the existing ecosystems and create a new form of industry. And Tributos has experienced rapid growth in total revenue, monthly active users, and user-generated content since the launch of 2017. And Neopin guys is a global CeFi DeFi platform that is centralized, decentralized finance platform, and Neopin intends to ensure high performance and success rate for the incubation project with Tributos, and the collaboration between Neopin and Tributos is the first use case of applying Web 3.0 to the national economy, and Neopin and Tributos are focusing on Middle East for Web 3.0 projects, and they want to excite customers with high-performing travel-to-earn service. Now, what are your thoughts, guys? Mention them in the comments below. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee Update from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now, for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Lucy who asks, have you seen CoinSpectator website? They seem to be down and not loading. You're 100% right, Lucy, because what I tend to do is when I'm doing my preparatory work for my podcast, the very first website that I tend to look at is CoinSpectator. And what other listeners need to understand is that CoinSpectator essentially is an aggregator of the news. Now, what I tend to do is I always look at CoinSpectator, and thank you so much for bringing this thing up, because since the last, I believe, 3 to 4 days, what is happening is when you go to CoinSpectator's website, the news are redundant, and I think some of the news are going back to 31st of March, so I'm really not sure if the website is still functioning. But at the same time, Lucy, when I click on, let's say, decrypt via CoinSpectator, it does take me to the latest news. So maybe they're having some downtime or something, or really I'm not sure. But this thing has been on at least for the past 3 to 4 days, because even Thursday I was looking at CoinSpectator website. I was definitely facing similar problem, and I really am hoping that this thing gets fixed. Now guys, listen, what I'd recommend you to do is once CoinSpectator website is fixed, go to CoinSpectator website, because essentially what it does is it gives you a news aggregator of everything that is going on in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency world. Do not take the information that you read it. Make sure you click on that link, and let's say if you find the link via bitcoin.com, don't take that for granted as well. Try to do your own research. Make sure that you look at information from first source. It is so critical, guys, that we truly understand what information to look at. So let's say if you're listening to any interviews or speech, make sure you listen to the entire speech. Make sure you listen to the entire interview. Read through the official links. That could be either directly via the blogs or official Twitter account. That is my only recommendation. I have another question by David who asks, what do you think of all the volumes of stable coins? Why is it so low? To be honest, David, one trend which I've been observing is, particularly since the last half of 2022, when there has been a lot of drama, and in the second quarter of 2022, where I've actually seen a drastic decrease in the volume of stable coins. Now, in my Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, since the second quarter of 2022, I have been saying that it looks like there is some war going on between war on stable coins. Now, the volume has been on a downtrend. And what happened is in the last quarter of 2022 is when there was massive drama going on between Binance and Circle USD. And if you actually check, since the last quarter of 2022, the volume of Binance BUSD was actually pumping up. The volume of Circle USDC has gone down, but looks like since this year, SEC is going after Binance, and the volume of Binance and the market cap has drastically gone down. It looks like there is a war on stablecoins, but unfortunately, it isn't against just the stablecoin issuers. That is, let's say Bitfinex Tether USDT or Circle USDC or Binance BUSD. Looks like the war is also coming from central bank digital currency. And guys, if you follow central bank digital currency's report, they often tend to bash stable coins. And Gary Gensler, David, as you know, is definitely against stable coins. And to be honest, I kind of agree to what Gary Gensler is saying regarding stable coins, because at the end of the day, David, Bitfinex from Tether USDT, Circle from Circle USDC, and Binance from Binance BUSD, they're actually taking the role of a bank without actually having a license. So those are the reasons why I do think the volume of stable coins is down. And one thing, to be honest, David, I've mentioned several times, once central bank digital currency kicks in, I really am not sure what the use case of stable coins would be. Why would you want to use stable coins when you have central bank digital currency? Now, I'm no way advocate of central bank digital currency, but it does everything much better than what stable coins do. And stable coins can be confiscated. they can be censored as well. So those are my thoughts on that. So that's all for today, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series of Blockchain DXB. In case if you do have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, or you can also drop me an email to info@area2071.com. And guys, please, if you like listening to this podcast, make sure you click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes of the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.